Hey guys, it's Critical Fish. I'm back with another video today. We're going over the games that I played over the course of 2024, games that I'm currently playing. The main list is the games that I've beaten this year. We're also going to be talking about games that I have pushed back on playing until next year in 2025, as well as games that I gave up on and I don't think I'll be playing again. So, if you're interested in any of that, just let me know in the comments. By the end of the video, I'd like to know if you have played any of the games that I played this year, and I'm curious to hear what I missed out on for releases this year. So, with that being said, let me show you what you're looking at. I've got a Google Sheets here with all the different filters I categorize my game experiences by. I've got the quarter of the year that I played these games in. I've got the systems that I played them on as well. Here you see I've got the games and their titles, but they're blacked out so that I can go each and every one by one. I also explain if it's a new game that I've played or a replay, the status of the game, which if it's yellow, I'm currently playing through. If it's green, I have completed that experience. If it's blue, it's being pushed back, most likely to next year. If it's gray, it doesn't really count as a video game and something that I bought. And then if it's red, I either played it and did not enjoy it, or I played it and I'll play it at a later time, but it's not a guarantee, or I never bought it in the first place, but I considered buying it. So, the check marks are if I beat it, the diamonds are if I got the 100%. If it was a deviation, that's kind of asking if I was planning on playing it at any point. And if it's a yes, then I didn't plan on playing it and it's new to me. And then if my experience mattered in the end, which is very important to me. So let's get ahead with the first game. And these three are currently what I'm playing. So the first one we've got might be a surprise. It's an old game with new graphics. It's Grand Theft Auto 5. I never grew up with Grand Theft Auto. Rockstar Games was kind of introduced to me when I started playing Red Dead Redemption 2. And, you know, I kind of figured that all of their games had a similar structure or gameplay system, and I was kind of right. They're very linear, even though they showcase open world with a lot of different options. And I'm mostly playing through Grand Theft Auto 5 story mode just to see what it's all about in preparation for Grand Theft Auto 6 next year. So it's interesting. It's nothing stand out, but I'm definitely gonna beat it. And yeah, not much else besides that. The next one I'm currently playing, or I'm about to play, is Silent Hill 2. Now, this is not the original, it's the remake, and I'm excited to play it because it's a classic survival horror game. This is a genre that I got introduced to by Resident Evil 2 remake, and yeah, this got great reviews. I've got the physical copy right next to me, and I'm just hoping that it's a solid experience. I've heard a lot of good things, and maybe it's a little depressing or the atmosphere's a little, gray, but I'm interested to see what it's all about. And then next up, this is a simple one. This is what I've been playing, Paper Mario 64. This is a game that's offered on the Virtual Console for the old Nintendo games, as well as the Switch Online. It's a traditional, RPG, and I just love how the game is designed overall, whether it's the items, the turn-based combat, the graphic style, the variety in the characters that you meet. I'm just a big fan of it all, and I thought I would have more bias for it because I played this when I was a lot younger, but this game holds up to today. And it blows the other Paper Mario games out of the water. I'm not even kidding. So, those are the games I'm currently playing. You'll hear more about what I'll be playing in 2025 soon. Let's see what I've beaten this year, which is all these green ones. So let's get started. So in Q1 of 2024, my most anticipated game was Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. This game is unbelievable. I obviously have bias here. I was introduced to Final Fantasy with the remake game in 2020, but I was always anticipating the sequel. And this sequel is unbelievable. It is extremely faithful to the portions that it covers from the original game. All the music is remade. There's new story elements. The gameplay doubles down on what was great and gets rid of what wasn't great from remake. And it's a really long game. I played this game for over 100 hours on my first playthrough. And so, yeah, I have some minor complaints here and there. Maybe there's a little bit of bloat throughout the game with, too many side quests, too many mini games, but these types of games don't come around that often. I'm willing to look over the small nitpicks. This is an excellent RPG. And probably my game of the year. Yeah, it's my game of the year. So, a little while after that came out, I played Animal Well. Animal Well was a game I didn't even know about until the day it released. It was published by Video Game Donkey, that YouTuber that creates all the funny videos. And this was the first game that his new studio published, and it was made by one person. It's a shockingly great Metroidvania style game with a great atmosphere, excellent gameplay, and it was very quick. Pretty much the exact opposite of what Final Fantasy VII Rebirth was. Super short game, not very detailed, made by one person, ambient music, and I loved it. It was great. But if you haven't played like Super Metroid before, I wouldn't even bother. All right, the next one, we've got Destiny 2. I'll actually unhighlight all of these right here. They are all Destiny DLCs, and I'll explain what happened here. So, from when Final Fantasy VII Rebirth launched and Animal Well launched, that was like 6 months, right? I didn't play much for the first 6 months of the year. So I went back to Destiny 2, I played Witch Queen, Lightfall, and then I was getting amped up for the Final Shape, which was the DLC, the final DLC for the game. And I played Destiny 2 for about 2 months. You might have seen some videos I made, but overall, Witch Queen and Lightfall were decent, but the Final Shape, being the final DLC, actually ended up being extremely great. I was hooked the whole time. I loved all the new story elements, collecting new weapons. I tried the raid. I don't know, it was just a great time, and I wasn't expecting it to be. But I pretty much wrapped it up right after I finished, and don't think I'm going back. It was a great little, cherry on top of all of the years of playing Destiny. All right, the next game I beat, this was a replay. It was Pikmin 3 Deluxe on the Switch. I played this with a friend on couch co-op mode. If you don't know, Pikmin as a series is all about real-time strategy. It's about collecting as many items in an allocated amount of time. You have to, create your army of Pikmin by fighting enemies and collecting resources. It's a lot of resource management. I played Pikmin 3 about a decade ago. It was my introduction to the series, and it was great to come back to it knowing that it was still an excellent game. This is probably my favorite Pikmin game. Not many complaints about it, and we got the 100%, which is cool. The next game I played was Elden Ring Shadows of the Erd Tree. I enjoyed and platinumed Elden Ring. I'm a huge fan of FromSoft in general. My introduction to the Souls series was Bloodborne, and Elden Ring was a huge release. I didn't love the open world, but a lot of people did. I was excited to see what this DLC was going to bring to the table in terms of, game structure, level design, bosses, and honestly, it's more or less of what Elden Ring does well. I will say I like the smaller scale of the world this time around, and I think the level design is a lot better than the base game. So I played this, over the course of a few days, beat it, did everything I could, and I'm a big fan of it. So yeah, I'm glad I checked it out. Next up was Astrobot, and this was announced earlier in the year. Looked like a fun 3D platformer. Sony doesn't do much of these anymore. The last one that I played on the PS5 was Sackboy, and that came out in 2020, and as far as I know, that game did not sell well at all, which sucks, but at least we've got this. It's got some great references to old PlayStation games. It's got some original music, some original levels, and I wouldn't say it's more clever or more fun than like a 3D Mario game, but it definitely is really close to being there. I thought it was a great experience. Am I going to go back to play the DLCs and stuff? I don't know. I don't think so, but it was a fun time. Then we've got Metal Gear Solid. Now, this was a point in the year. It was about, 8 months into the year. Looking at this list, I didn't have much going on in terms of games, and my friend convinced me to buy the Metal Gear collection of 1, 2, and 3. And I'm going to unhighlight the next one just so you can see what happened here. I played Metal Gear 1 and Metal Gear 2 for the first time, not knowing anything. Let's start with Metal Gear 1. I love Metal Gear Solid now. I thought it was going to be typical action stealth, beat 'em up action, but no. This game has a lot of thought put into it. I think a lot of the game design carries over into the other games extremely well. I love the stealth. I love the cutscenes and the dialogue between the characters. I think Snake has more of an interesting personality than I was expecting. And the overarching story and expanding lore as I keep playing the games is just surprising, to say the least. So Metal Gear Solid, I would give like a 10 out of 10, like easily. Metal Gear Solid 2 was what I played right after. And I'm a little more conflicted on 2, but it still holds up extremely well. I think the art style looks great. I think there's a lot of great characters in it. And I think the end of the game is well worth seeing if you've started the game. So there's a lot that I like here. I did play, I don't know where it is in this black list, but I did play the first 2 hours of Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, and I know for a fact that I'm going to love it, but I'm going to wait for the remake. They are remaking Metal Gear Solid 3. They're calling it Metal Gear Solid Delta on the PS5, and I'm just going to wait because it's an extremely faithful remake from what I've heard. So I'm just going to wait to play that. But overall, Metal Gear Solid, awesome series to get into. Next up, let's see what we got. Oh, it's more Metal Gear. So I'll unhighlight the both of these. I played Metal Gear Solid 5. Ground Zeroes, which is the prequel kind of story setup for Phantom Pain. And this is really quick experience. It's one map, you know, a couple missions on that one map. But it stays faithful to the gameplay of Metal Gear in general, you know, stealth, tactical, action, and it's fun. Simple story, simple setup for the next game, and it's cool. It's cool. Surprised it released on the PS3 as well. And then right after that, I played Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, which is the actual meat of the storyline after Ground Zeroes. And obviously I did not expect to play this game at all, but I loved Metal Gear 1, 2, and 3, so might as well check it out. And, you know, it's a fully 3D, open world, mission-based stealth shooter. And it's a long game, I'm not gonna lie. It's a lot. It's like 40 hours, and a lot of it's repetitive and out of order, and the story doesn't make sense all the time, but I had fun, you know? It's like watching a long TV show where there's cool, memorable moments, maybe some cool characters here and there, and I thought it was worth playing through at the end of the day, and I watched some videos on the cut content, what happened with Kojima behind the scenes. It was just, you know, a solid experience, pun intended. And then the last 3 games that I've played in the year that I've technically beaten, these next 2 don't have check marks. I'll explain why. I replayed Lies of P. This is a game that I mentioned in my last video that I beat for the first time last year. And Lies of P is, you know, a Souls-like game, very faithful to Bloodborne, but definitely stands in its own lane. It's that good. I went back for the Platinum because I know the DLC is coming out. And going through the game again on New Game Plus to get the Platinum was a great experience. Overall, it was pretty easy. I already had all my gear and my weapons and my currency. But it was just fun fighting the bosses again, getting used to the perfect parries and using all the equipment, and seeing the different endings was great. So, Lies of P Platinum was definitely worth it. Next one up I played was I played Red Dead Redemption 1. The PS4 remaster that released. I got the case. I played it at 60 frames per second. And this was like a deviation. I wasn't expecting to play this at all, but I did. And I'm kind of conflicted on it. I feel like it works well as kind of a shorter game compared to Red Dead 2. And you know, the story of John Marston is definitely a tragedy. There's not too much besides go hunt down these people and, you know, live the rest of your life with your family. But it's still a good game. You know, I like the dialogue and the characters, so it was worth playing. But it's not like, in today's age, it's nothing compared to what Red Dead 2 is, so. Immediately after I beat Red Dead, I checked out Red Dead 2. I had previously beaten this game, that's why there's no checks here. And I played more of the epilogue section where you're playing as John. And I went back to the areas that are in Red Dead 1 in Red Dead 2. And I was like, this is crazy, this is awesome. So, you know, having those as back-to-back experiences was pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. And I wish we got a full remake of Red Dead 1 in some form someday. So, that'll do it for the completed games of the year. It's a little over 10, and let me quickly go over the other sections that are on here. I will unhighlight all the blue. Now, let me remind you, all the blue stuff is what I plan to play or what is in my backlog. So Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta Snake Eater is getting pushed back to next year. It did not release this year, and I don't think it will. So we're going to be playing that next year. Super Mario Party Jamboree. All my buddies will be in person to hang out and play this probably sometime next year, so I'll be playing that. Lies of P is getting DLC in early next year. It got delayed from the end of this year to next, so we'll play that next year. And then all of these, Mother 3, Metroid Prime 2, Metroid Prime 3, and Chrono Trigger, they're all on my backlog, so I'll be playing those probably next year at some point if I make the time for it. And then all of these right here, actually just the gray for now. These aren't games, but they are things that I purchased. I got the Destiny Taken King PS4 after I beat and wrapped up Destiny. I just think it looked cool and thought it would be a cool, cheap collector's item to own. And then I went ahead and I purchased a lot of the items in the 30th anniversary line for the PS5. I ended up getting a PS5 Slim, that's gray. I got the DualSense Edge, as well as a couple DualSense 30th controllers. I did not get the Portal on purpose, and I missed out on buying the PS5 Pro in gray. That whole situation's a mess, but I'm lucky to have bought what I did. And then just in a couple weeks from now, I'm going to be unboxing the PS5 Pro. You know, for the price point, it's not a great system, but I'm selling a few things and I'm working a little bit extra to get that money to get the Pro. I plan to play Silent Hill 2 day one on the Pro. And this last section here is all the stuff that I decided to not play, to stop playing, or to sell. This might be controversial, but here's what I got. GoldenEye 64, I gave it a shot. Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection, just kind of a mess of a game. I wasn't clicking with Metroid Dread that much. Helldivers 2, just kind of light on content. Fallout 4, it's an older game. Nothing super appealing right off the bat. Maybe I'll go back to it. Super Mario 3D All-Stars. I've played all of these. I just bought the Switch case at a cheap price. The Dark Souls 2 DLC, people say, oh my god, it's the best part of the game. Nope. Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. This is the original. I played the first couple hours, but my main experience will be with the remake. Cyberpunk 2077. Yeah, man. It's just kind of boring gameplay-wise. It feels a little clunky. I'm not hooked on it, so. Kirby and the Forgotten Land. It's a solid game. I'll give it that. But I just traded it in towards other stuff. I wasn't going to beat it. Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. I was, on the fence for a little while, but definitely not buying it now. And Black Ops 6. I will never buy that. So that's the list, guys. Let me know what you think. And yeah, overall, I'd give this year maybe on the lower end of the scale. I think Rebirth really holds up this year for me. If Rebirth did not release this year, it would have been very dry. But yeah, that's what I played. And let me know what you think. Let me know what you want me to play next year. I'm going to make a whole nother video for 2025. 2025, let me tell you right now, It's going to be a big year for game releases. Whether it's first party from Sony, third party on Sony, or first party on the Switch, I am all in. Switch 2's coming out. I'll have the PS5 Pro. There's a lot happening next year, so stay tuned, guys, and I'll catch you in the next Critical Fish video. Thank you.